Morning, everybody. It is 8:37 on this Wednesday morning, the 24th, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen some more of the economic numbers. We were due to have a bunch of them today. Uh, the only one that I've seen actually posted was mortgage apps, which were down 2.2% versus last week's up 3.9%. Also due today at 8:30 was the advanced international trade in goods, retail inventories, and wholesale inventories. I haven't seen any of those three posted. At 9:45, we're supposed to have the global U.S. manufacturing PMI and global services PMI, as well as new home sales at 10 o'clock. So I'm not surprised that we haven't seen those or the EIA crude inventories at 10:30, but I am surprised to not see um, those PMI numbers or, frankly, the trade numbers. The futures have been down all night. I was up on and off in the evening, and we have gone from minus about 25 to minus about 10. That was the biggest rally that I saw in the S&P. But at 8:30 we were down 50, and we're actually down about 53 right now. The Dow was down 205. It's now down a little bit more than that. The S&P, the Nasdaq was down 268. It's now down 315. So we've had a move towards the downside all night. On the earnings front last night, we had Tesla, which is currently trading 226.88, down about $20 or 8%. They missed by 9 cents, although they beat on revenues. Gross margin was down. This was not a great report, and Musk was coming out and talking during the conference call about the subscription model. You know, cars are a very personal item, and frankly, I disagree with him. I don't see people letting other people sort of rent their cars on an hourly or daily basis. Again, they're a very personal item, and I don't really see that. I know I wouldn't, but that's just me. Okay, we also had Google earnings, which were a little bit better than expected. They beat by a nickel, revenues in line. They're continuing to invest in CapEx, right around or slightly above Q1 levels for generative AI for cloud customers, and they're already generating billions in revenues in 2024. The stock was down slightly, then up slightly. Currently trading 176.75. That's down 685 or 3.7%. Visa reported in line 255 and a half. That's down 930. I'll come back to the Visa in a second. Well, I'll just skip down to Capital One. Capital One missed by a quarter, reported inline revenues, and reported June card metrics. It's 143.42, down 208, down 1.4%. I mentioned that along with the Visa because we're seeing defaults on car loans, even though they have pushed them out as far as 84 months or 7 years. We're seeing people paying the minimum on credit cards, and I've mentioned this before. The credit card APR is absurdly high, some of them as high as 31%. So when you're paying the minimum and you have no hope of paying off the debt, um, you know, the Capital Ones and Visas of the world will get hurt. And that's not even mentioning the buy now, pay never that is also seeing the same kind of minimal payments and late payments. So, hail, hail the consumer, except he's spending money he doesn't have. Texas Instruments beat by a penny, revenues in line, guidance okay, 201.50 up 321. Seagate also beat by 29 cents, inline revenue, guides above consensus. The stock is 110.72, up 542, or 5.2%. AT&T in line, the stock is 18.75, can't get out of its own way, it's up 54 cents, big deal. Boeing resumes delivering 737 Maxes to China. The stock was up a couple of dollars yesterday. It's down $1 today at 185. That's a 0.5%. Rivian, the judge says Rivian will face a trial in a case related to Tesla trade secrets. That one is 1687, down 63 or 3.6%. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the backing for Rivian is so extreme with Amazon building a fleet of Rivian. I think there are going to be these little ups and downs, but I think Rivian is absolutely one of the survivors. Okay, the chart on the screen is the S&P. Which right now is down 55 and continuing to fall. Dow down 202 and the NASDAQ down 306. So about where we were when I mentioned it 5 minutes ago. I saw this as a reversal. I have been harping on the fact that on the weekly S&P chart, we have something that we usually do not see, and that is a series of gaps on the weekly. You don't generally see that because on the weekly charts you have the weekend trading and it's unusual to see these kind of gaps. And gaps tend to get filled, and I believe that that's where this one is going. I have been saying it for a while, and today's action kind of confirms it, or last week's and today's action. This is the weekly. This is the reversal. We had a high here of 57.08. We had a high here of 57.21, so slightly higher high, lower low, closing on the bottom. A really meager rally so far this week. I mean, it's only Wednesday, and there's a lot of news coming this week, including PCE at the end of the week, as well as the ADP numbers and the non-farm payrolls for last month on Friday. I don't see any way that we do not close 54.54, which is the top of this gap. We have a bunch of closes here around the 55 level. Currently, we're trading 55.46. A look at the daily shows, let's just bring this in a bit so that we can get a clearer picture. Here's the 6 month. We had that high, we had the reversal and the decline. We had a rally back to resistance and turned right back down. The low close here is 55.53.75. Last is 53.46.80. I can't imagine that we are not going to break that. Again, the gap is between 54.54 and 54.89. I'm not sure that we're not going to close the other gap, the first one that we left. way back here, but that's quite a ways away. That's around 4,800. That would be a pretty big move, and there is plenty of support in this area between 53 and change, and the bottom where we hit both the trend line and the 10-week moving average. But again, this would not surprise me. It would not surprise me to see this market at 53.50. And all the hoopla about Kamala, that'll all die down. This is typical. But everything that I read, including an opinion by Hillary Clinton, certainly not somebody I count on for political opinion. Talking about how she can beat him, but the bottom line is all they're talking about is beat Trump, he's a bad guy, not Kamala Harris is a good guy and has accomplished something, because she hasn't. All right, folks, last look. The bonds are about unchanged. The S&P is now at another new low, down about $57. Dow is down $207. And the NASDAQ is down a solid 320. By the way, we also have an FOMC commentary this afternoon. Let me just make sure that I have that right. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. That's next week, a week from today. So what we're looking at this week is personal income spending, PCE, and core PCE later in the week, also durable goods. All right, folks, have a good one, and be careful out there. This is going to get to be a very tough market.